This is my audience. In the United States, roughly $59 billion is spent on traditional social welfare programs for food stamps and unemployment, compared to $92 billion on corporate subsidies. That's 50% more than what is provided to eligible individuals, as outlined by Mike Sinn of Think by Numbers. We're all mostly aware of the social stigma that is associated with people on welfare, but tend to lose sight of that when some of the government assistance is also supporting our corporations. Today I would like to persuade you to have a more insightful and non-judgmental viewpoint toward welfare assistance. To do so, I will set the stage with the statistics involved with welfare, compare and contrast corporate and individual welfare assistance, and provide evidence as to how we would be effective without government assistance. The Department of Commerce defines welfare as an organized public or private provision of social services for the disadvantaged, including health care through Medicaid, food stamps, and housing benefits. Statistics from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services report there is a total of over 12.8 million Americans on welfare, 4.1% of the U.S. population, and accounting for $131.9 billion, excluding food stamps and unemployment. With the high amounts of spending required for government-assisted welfare, it has come with a lot of disapproval and judgment for those that are on it. With all the unjustified feeling towards individuals receiving government assistance, we can gain some perspective by examining similar implementation in American corporations. Corporate welfare is financial aid, usually through a subsidy provided by the government to corporations and other businesses, but it doesn't hold the same social stigma traditional welfare does. According to Christopher Jenks of the American Prospect, political ideologies of corporate welfare stimulates the economy by helping struggling industries, backfires by reducing the ability of people to stimulate the economy through their own purchasing power. Additionally, tax breaks targeted to benefit specific corporations could also be considered a form of welfare. Loopholes force other businesses and individual taxpayers without the same political clout to pick up the slack and sacrifice a greater share of their hard-earned money to decrease the financial burden of corporations. And as you can see from this clip here, the cost of the average taxpayer per year for subsidies as far as individuals, it costs the average American $36 per year, compared to some of our larger corporations like Google, Max, Verizon, some of our electric companies, compared to $870 a year. So it says, who are they trying to kid when the GOP says we can't afford to help the poor? So unfortunately, some of the common views about this form of welfare doesn't carry the same weight as social welfare. As well as in this one, you can see that there are over $418 billion in grants per year to state and local governments, as well as taxes and loopholes on $1.8 trillion in tax loopholes that are being offered to governments. Social welfare does have its place in helping the poor, and without it would create even more serious disparity between the poor and the rest of the population, without a means of self-improvement. In texts such as Losing Ground by Charles Murray, arguments are made that welfare does not only increases poverty, but increases its risk factors such as single-parent households, crime, as well as social pathologies such as dependency, abortion, and other social conditions. But this isn't the case, as a 2014 Pew Research poll found the belief to be it does more good than harm, as people can't progress until their basic needs are met. And as human beings in a democratic system, it is our duty to set up a system to help our population achieve their maximum potential, as we do for our businesses. Removing a welfare system, as harsh opponents request, would reverse over 40 years of positive welfare reform, and as Foreign Affairs writer Lane Kenworthy discovered, the evidence is in the numbers. The decreased poverty has decreased total about 10% in the last 25 years. With that said, the benefits of welfare system are clear, and it isn't an issue so easily defined, so we cannot easily define those that receive it. We can see that we don't associate negative stereotypes with corporations receiving government aid. We can learn to not box in those receiving assistance and perpetuate the negative belief of the welfare program. Through the statistics of those receiving welfare, the comparisons between individuals and corporate reception, and a perception of how removing welfare programs would change our society, I hope to have persuaded you to adopt a more positive stance on welfare reform reception. Would it better serve our society to increase corporate subsidies and making sure CEOs are taking home an appropriate $1 million bonus, or stimulating the economy by stimulating the spending power of the poor?